Hi, welcome to MyallStones early years classes from ages 3 to starting school. My name is Steffi Myall and I'm a fully qualified and experienced early years teacher. I've been working in a reception classroom for 10 years now, but I've decided to branch out and build my own business called MyallStones for a couple of reasons really. Number one was that having worked in a reception class for 10 years, I know how important it is for that transition from preschool or nursery all the way into early years. And it really helps to make children and parents and carers feel comfortable with that, because there are, after all, a lot of new routines and expectations in the classroom, but most importantly it's about the child being happy and their well-being and being able to be sociable in that context. So another reason was, as a parent to a 3-year-old, I noticed that there was nothing like this around, and I really wanted that for my son, to help him to understand what would be expected in reception, but also I know the expectation of reception, but I get a lot of parents coming to me in reception asking me what will be expected, what do I need to do to get them ready for school. There's a lot of stress and worry around that, but if parents, carers, grandparents, anybody like that brings their children to MyallStones classes, we can make sure that your child has that boost in learning but is also hugely ready for that next step in their education. Also, most importantly, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll take you on a little tour of the kind of activities you can expect, especially for our launch session for Winter Wonderland on Wednesday the 8th of January and Saturday the 11th of January from 10 to 11 AM at Cheeky Monkeys Play Centre, South Woodham Ferrers. Okay, so what does a typical MyallStones early years class look like for your 3-year-old to 4-year-old? It's just 1 hour for a parent and carer and their child to bond, and the first 20 minutes starts off with a wide range of activities linked to the early years curriculum. And those areas are, most importantly, communication and language, personal, social and emotional development and physical development. And then we'll also incorporate literacy, maths, including phonics in that literacy area, and expressive arts and design and understanding of the world. So the activities you're about to see will definitely link to all of those areas, often in a cross-curricular way. After that first 20 minutes, we'll have a tidy up, which again is part of that routine for school, and there'll be a song to help the children understand when it's time for that. After that time, it will be a carpet or circle time around our campfire with our log cushions, and I will start to teach them in a themed way. So every week is themed. The first week is Winter Wonderland, but we've also got things like Chinese New Year, Teddy Bear's Picnic, Frozen, all sorts of things like that, and generally led by the child and their interests. So when they're sat down, I will then do a teacher-led session. It could be some number work, it could be some phonics work, but it could be something like Easter or Christmas or Chinese New Year. So it does definitely change every week, and it's what I deem to be fun and exciting and really stimulating and inspirational for the children. So after that time, there'll be a follow-up activity where I'll encourage parents and carers to do that with the children and with me, something to take home, and then at the end there'll be story, songs and a goodbye song as well, so that it really shows the children when it's time to wrap up and go. And then something extra that MyallStones offers is every week there'll be a sheet of support ideas, practical, playful ideas that you as the parent can take home and work on with your children if you want to. It doesn't have to be that week, it could be just in the lead up to school to get them really ready, and also just a bit of fun time for you and your child. Life is so busy that it's nice to have that that undisturbed time to work with your children as well. And then they'll get a sticker and hopefully go home talking about how much fun they had, because that is the most important thing, getting ready for reception and in preschool, loving learning and setting themselves up for life. Now I'm going to introduce the activities for a typical session and talk to you about what curriculum areas they link to, just so that you know what's going on behind the whole ethos of MyallStones. The first one I'll talk about is the writing area or the creative area. Okay, so what we've got on the writing area at the moment is just typical snowflake paper, wintry paper, and a little stimulus book called The Snow Globe, which is a gorgeous book. I've read it to children in reception so many times and it really fits with Winter Wonderland. So that is just for children to mark make. Every bit of mark making that children make is really important. It won't be letters yet, it might just be scribbles, but that's all part of the process. The next activity I will introduce to you is the numeracy or the maths area. This is a really practical area, and today we've got penguins on ice blocks. So in typical Antarctic fashion, the children can learn early counting with these penguins. They can stand them up on the stand in patterns, so that might be an alternate colour pattern like red, orange, or you could make it a little bit harder for your child, as in blue, purple, green, blue, purple, green. This then paves the way for other patterns like shape patterns and number patterns as well. But you can also do adding and subtracting with these penguins too. Okay, the next activity I will talk about is the reading area. Reading areas should be really exciting, stimulating and cosy. The love of reading is more important than anything else. So what we've got is a rainbow tent, because who doesn't love rainbow colours? And we've got log cushions inside, which I will also use later in the class for a story around the campfire and to just show the children where to sit with their parents. And we have a range of different themed books each week in there so that it stays interesting for the children and they remain engaged. These are for you to share with the children in there with them. So moving on to our investigation area, often in the middle of the room we will have what's called a tough spot, and in that will be something exciting that your children can investigate. So today we've got, can you pack the winter penguins a suitcase that is suitable for winter? So I've set out a range of summery clothes, spring clothes, autumn clothes and winter clothes, and it'll be up to you to work with your children to talk about what kind of clothes might we need in the winter and what shall we pack for these penguins to make sure they're warm. So that really links to communication and language, understanding the world and personal, social and emotional development working with you. Okay, one of my absolute favourite things to do when working with children as young as 3 and 4 is a small world. Small world means when you take the world around them and make it miniature so that they can role play with it. This is fantastic for communication and language, literacy, sometimes maths if you've thrown some things in there with it, understanding the world and generally just being able to work together and role play a scenario. Today we've got Frozen, and there are not many children who don't like Frozen. So we've thrown some glitter together, some sequins to really bring that up a notch and make it a bit more exciting and engaging. Every session starts with what's called self-registration, so the class is very much tailored to your child, and that's why I ask you to book 24 hours in advance, because I'll ask the name of your child and get this ready for them on a little footprint, and what they do when they come into the class is find their name, and that really helps them to start to recognise what their name looks like, and then they would just pop it on the board to tell me that they're there, and that then helps them when they go to school to recognise their name when they've got pegs and trays and all things like that. So just another way to incorporate those routines. So that wraps up our MyallStones tour today of a typical class. Remember, the launch sessions in January are absolutely free, so you can come along with your children, see if you like it, and then hopefully you'll be back time and time again. We can't wait to meet you at MyallStones. Have a lovely Christmas. Bye.